You are now listening to the Going North podcast with your host, author and speaker, Dom Brightman. And every Monday and Thursday, you're going to hear the voice of a different author share their stories, expertise, and their struggles that they had to overcome in life to leave you inspired to get more out of your life. Be sure to not only listen to this episode, but share with others, connect with the authors, and always advance others to advance yourself. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we're back at you again with another author in the house, baby.
Yes, sir.
And man, I gotta tell you, one of the greatest professions in the world in terms of ROI is a teacher, because you're shaping and molding and instilling lessons in a product that isn't finished yet, and you have no idea what could happen in the future if they come back to you later down the road. And this wonderful author right here is a teacher, not only to elementary school students, but also a driver's ed teacher. One of the funniest folks you'll actually encounter ever. One of the people you need to see when you're having a bad day, because he has a corny joke ready for you. All the time, baby. That's right. That's right.
I didn't know we were going to throw that in there, but okay. All right. Appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. And this guy right here is the one that's going to fit all three of those professions, baby. That's right. He's a teacher. He's a motivator, inspirator. That's right. And a joke teller. It's the one, the only Teacherman himself, Brian Neal. How you feeling?
I'm feeling well, sir. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm going to have to take you along with me and walk around and just give that intro everywhere we go, man. That was awesome. I appreciate that.
Heck yes, indeed. Heck, especially after everybody leaves school and whatnot. Be like, all right, there's nobody here? All right, good. All right, man, tell them about me. Let me stop.
Hey, man, this is number 142 on my bucket list I'm checking off right now, being on the Going North podcast. So, again, I want to thank you for having me on, man. You are an outstanding author yourself and an outstanding individual, and I appreciate you for allowing me to be on your show, man. So thank you again.
Yes, sir, indeed. Yes, sir, indeed. You definitely have to have you on, because it easily one of my favorite folks in life, because it's like early in my customer service career, one of the folks that always come in and be a smiling face and a jolt of positivity in a person's day, especially when it's like the end of the shift or whatever. And it's like, oh man, and you wrote a book. It's like, oh wow, I didn't know you're an author. So it's like, wow. Like,
and that's why we click, man. That's why we click, because you give off the same energy, man. You always have a positive vibe, positive energy that you give off as well. So feelings mutual.
Woohoo! Yes, indeed. So with most introductions, they're not allowed to be 10 years long, so mind filling in some gaps where I may have missed some things, and tell us a bit about yourself.
All right, great, sure. Well, since you gave the teacher background, I'll start there. I've been teaching with Baltimore County Public Schools for 23 years now. I started off my first 10 years as a first grade teacher. Loved every minute of it. And as you said in the intro, touching the lives of students and not knowing the future they may hold, I fortunately get to see some of those students come back and see how they're doing. And, they're married. Some of them have kids that are at the school now, and just validates how old I am now. But I've been teaching in the education business for 23 years, first 10 years as a first grade teacher. After that, my last 13 years currently, I'm the behavior specialist, one of the behavior specialists for the school. And we work with students who have challenging behaviors in the school. We work with them to help get them on track, work with the teachers, giving them strategies to help these students maintain and focus and to continue to be successful in their educational career. During my time as a teacher, I always ran across young boys who were not very interested about reading. So I always wanted to instill my love of reading into those students. So I was very much, and I still am, very much into comic books and superheroes, and also into poetry and hip-hop music and culture. So I thought if I could fuse those two things together into a book that boys would love to read, and that's how I came up with Teacherman. I took superheroes and hip-hop culture and fused it together into something I call edutainment. And
Nice.
Teacherman was born, and all the stories are about actual events that took place in my first grade classroom. Everything from being afraid the first day of school, missing the bus, and not having my lunch money. And they're all told from a 6-year-old's point of view, and how he looks at his teacher as a superhero because of all the things teachers do for their students that they do anyway, but to a child, it's almost superhuman. So then I took my love of hip-hop culture and wrote everything in a rhyme form, so it's easy to say. You could put it to music, and I was able to get it published, self-published, and that's how Teacherman was born. And at being a teacher, we're 10-month employees, so we have to find a side hustle during the summertime to make sure we have money coming in. So that's how I got into driver education as an instructor. I've been doing that for 15 years, and my love of teaching continues. I get to work with teenagers and young adults, and I teach them the rules of the road and how to be a safe and legal driver. So I still get to teach and work with the youth all the way from pre-K through adulthood now. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah, pre-K through adulthood. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed.
So teaching never stops. Never stops. I'm sorry.
That's right. Can't stop, won't stop, baby.
Can't stop, won't stop. Teaching 24/7. My teacher friends out there know it never stops. You see your students in the grocery store. You might be helping them count back their change. You just never know. Never stops.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So how's it feel just seeing kids used to teach in first grade coming up to you with their kids? It's got to feel strange, right?
It's very surreal. I mean, it's great to see them doing well, and hearing about them being a parent, and their trials and triumphs, and it's a beautiful thing. And you still get to kind of almost mentor them in one aspect. I actually had a former student of mine come back to visit me, who is now also teaching first grade. He's a first grade teacher, and that just made it really full circle for me. And this young man actually told me he got into it because of his experience being in my class, and that was a beautiful thing.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, baby. One of the greatest folks in the world is a teacher, baby, especially the great one like yourself. Inspired them.
I appreciate that, sir. The teachers I work with at Hebdell Elementary School, every last one of them, exceptional, awesome people, and it's a wonderful profession. It's challenging, it's difficult, but it's also very rewarding.
Woohoo!
Had a shout out to Hebdell Elementary School.
Oh, yeah, the Ville with the Hebs, baby. That's right. Not the herbs, but the Hebs. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to say anything to that one. I'm going to let that one go.
That's right. It's Peaches and Hebville now, not Peaches and Herb. That's right.
Oh, my God. Woo, all right. Okay.
Oh, man. Well, real good stuff, though. So I like the fact that you said edutainment. I feel like that you're probably the only one I know that actually coined that phrase, edutainment. That's really awesome right there.
Well, I can't take credit for that word. That word was actually coined by the great KRS-One of Boogie Down Productions. He, being a great MC, poet, rapper himself, he was very much into education and teaching. So that's where I first heard the word edutainment, taking entertainment and education, putting it together.
I need to go back to hip-hop school. Oh, man. Edutainment, baby.
Yes, sir. Edutainment.
That's right. And you also do DJing, right, on occasion?
I am retired from that. I was a professional DJ for about 30 years, kind of got into it by default. Started off, so going way back in time to 15, 16, back in 86, 87, I went to Mount St. Joe High School, and I met my best friend, David L. Harris, in art class. And once I realized he was a much better artist than I was, I put my drawing pad away and started writing rhymes. And found out he had a love of hip-hop just as much as I had a love for hip-hop, and he was a DJ. You know, he liked my rhymes. I liked the way he DJ'd, and next thing you know, we're practicing almost every day after school at his place in his studio, and we made a few demo tapes and didn't do anything with them because back then, if you were from Baltimore, really no one wanted to hear from you. Then David went away to college. I still had this dream of being a rap star, so my parents, against their will, allowed me to go to New York by myself on a Greyhound bus with a demo tape and big dreams. And I'm going to Def Jam and Jive RCA and trying to get people to listen to my demo, only to have the door slammed in my face and kind of laughed at. So come back home, Baltimore, I did manage to finally get a song on the radio on WEBB back in the day, AM, Chris the Hitman Thomas, and they had a thing called Battle of the Raps, and they played two songs, local artists. People would call in and vote, and I was fortunate enough to have my song win for 5 weeks straight. So I was the rap champion of Baltimore for 5 weeks, and that was the extent of my hip hop career. So after that kind of faded away, David and I started DJing weddings and different social gatherings, and it was cool. The money was pretty good, and then eventually David went his way, and I still had equipment, and I just started doing it on my own, and got somewhat of a name doing cookouts, wedding receptions, things of the nature, and it was fun. It was fun, and after a while, just got kind of boring, but just time to do something different. And I felt like I was too old to keep up with all the trends of the music, so I let that go, and got back focused on writing more and trying to get my books out there, and to really build the Teacherman brand, to continue doing that.
That's right. City Chair, Baltimore, 5 weeks, baby. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. Some folks don't even make it to a week.
Yeah, I think I had most of my friends and family calling and flooding the lines, but at least I got bragging rights for 5 weeks.
Heck yeah, man. Freaking give yourself the championship belt, man. Wrap it around your waist. Rap champ. 5 weeks. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think there's a belt somewhere.
Yeah.
Not defending, but okay.
Okay, well, maybe not defending it.
There are plenty of guys. Yeah, that belt is long retired. Plenty of guys out there that are way better than me now. It's funny you say that. One of my former students came back to visit me. He was now a rap artist named Deuce Caliber, and he came back and he said in one of his interviews that I inspired him to be a rapper because I wrote a song about a tribute to Dr. King back in 1998 that I used to have the kids sing at our Dr. King program, and he was one of the first students I had perform the song. And to hear him come back to say that song and him doing that inspired him to pursue that career, because this kid is big time. he's like international, and that was just very humbling and surreal for me as well.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So is this demo tape anywhere to be found so folks can listen to it?
I hope not.
Oh, dang, no. Oh.
I hope not. I'm sure I probably have it somewhere in a shoebox somewhere collecting dust, or my friend David does. But we have some of our old studio sessions on YouTube that people can, my 80s, 90s hip hop heads could probably appreciate. But yeah, YouTube channel Brian Douglas Neal, it's out there. Not the actual demos. Not the actual demos. Hopefully those are hidden somewhere, locked in a vault, never to be heard again.
Oh, darn it. I mean, heck, it's probably gold now compared to what's out now. At least what's out on the mainstream anyway.
Don't think so. Not that. But I still write in spoken word, a lot of poetry, and eventually down the road, gonna get to an open mic somewhere, see what kind of reception I get.
That's right, open mics. That's right. Not Jackson's either, right? Or Jordan's. Let me stop. That's right, a man of many interests and talents, baby. That's right. So lots of experience, almost like a Renaissance man.
I feel like as a teacher, you kind of have to be. It's a number of experiences that make up who you are as a teacher, because you have to build relationships with so many different students with different backgrounds, different personalities, and I think all of my experiences from the past of being in the hip hop world and working in corporate America, and all my experiences growing up have helped me to engage students and just to be able to relate to them on their level. And that's what makes a good teacher, the ability to build a relationship with the students that you have in your room for that school year. And I can honestly say being able to rap has saved me a great deal in, keeping the interest of a lot of students. So I was able to parlay a lot of that over into the classroom when introducing certain lessons or creating a little rap to help students remember how to do fractions, and anything I could use to just make learning fun. And that's where that edutainment comes back into play. So I hope most of the students that came through my classrooms, even now in driver's ed, can always look back and say, hey, I had fun in his class, I learned something, and I had fun. Because I wish I had that when I can count on one hand how many teachers I had that were actually fun. And those were the teachers that I learned a lot from, because the class was fun and it made the learning, even the stuff that was hard, because math was difficult for me, the teachers that made it interesting and fun could learn. It was easier.
Oh, yep. Man, those are the great teachers that we admire indeed. And it's really powerful, too, and that's kind of a piece you probably don't hear about too much with teaching, because half of it's basically performance. It's almost like you're on stage performing, because you got to engage all the different kids in the room, like, 20 to 30, depending on the size of the classroom, and you got to try to make sure everybody's at least catching the lesson, and you got to hold their attention for 45 minutes, maybe even longer, depending on
the subject.
Sessions. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. It's a performance, and it's a juggling act. And some days are great, some days not so great. But it's a stage that we're on, for 180 days, and we do the best we can to make sure we have those students' full attention and that they leave every day knowing more than they did when they came in the morning. And that's the ultimate goal, and to, foster those relationships and continue to build on, meeting the needs of those students to the best of our abilities. But teaching is not for the weak at heart. It's definitely it can burn you out very quickly if you're not truly invested in the profession. But if you have a great support system, as I do at Headville Elementary School, you can last a long career like I have. And you can't be a lone ranger. One of my former principals, Mrs. Annie Gordon, she used to say, you can't be a lone ranger in this business. You have to work with your team and your administrative team in order to be successful, and that's the only way.
That's solid advice indeed. So any other tips, especially for the teachers out there, because I know we featured a couple teachers before. I know Daniel Blanchard was one of them. Any advice you want to give to teachers out there for avoiding burnout?
Find something every day to do for yourself, even if it's only 5 minutes. Walk through. My thing used to be coming into the library every day after work, and that's how we met and became good friends. But that was just stress relief for me. Sometimes it might be going to get your favorite candy or go somewhere, get your favorite meal. Do something for yourself every day, even if it's only 5 minutes. That's the best advice I can give a teacher. Work with your team. Don't try to be a lone ranger. If you're struggling with something, find that teacher that's in the school that's like the guru. Pick their brain, stay in their ear. You're not alone. The thing you're struggling with, I'm quite sure there's another teacher struggling with the same thing. So talk to your team, find that teacher in the school, that shining star, that, whoever that person is, and, hold on to them, learn from them, let them be your mentor, and sometimes it might not even be in your school. It might be someone at another school, but find someone that you can bounce ideas off of, talk to if you're struggling, if you're going through anything, and, don't be afraid to show vulnerability. If you need help in something, there's always somebody that you can turn to. And I always had a great team of people when I was a first grade teacher. As a behavior interventionist, currently I have an awesome tag team partner. Shout out to my man, Haroon Brown, my SEL team, Debbie Levi, Marcus Brown, Ken Carthorne, Teresa Goldsmith, Kashia Holden, Regina Tillman, Dr. Wall, Nasa Younger, Tyshawn McGee, my principal, Sandra White, my assistant principal, Suzanne Griggs. Awesome people that keep us all going. If I miss somebody, I apologize. Shout out to my entire staff.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about indeed. Keep them going, baby. Keep them going north. That's what I'm talking about. That is like solid advice indeed. Just do something for yourself for at least 5 minutes. It's such a short window of time. It's like it doesn't make sense of why you can't do that. At least give yourself at least 5 minutes. I mean, you got the whole 24 hours to do something.
Exactly.
Give yourself 5 of those minutes.
Yeah, that's the minimum 5 minutes. If you can do more than 5 minutes, that's great. But if you can do at least 5 minutes, so that way every day before you put your head on the pillow, you can say, I did something for myself today. And that just makes the ending of your day just seem a little bit better because you were able to do something for yourself. Not one of those things you have to do, but one of those things you just really want to do for yourself that has nothing to do with the job or fulfilling a responsibility, just something fun, entertaining for yourself or relaxing for yourself.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And as with teaching, I'm pretty sure there probably been some trials you had to overcome, too, just to stay in tip-top shape to keep giving the kids the knowledge as well.
I guess the biggest obstacle for me has been myself, just fear of trying something new or fear of failing, that has, in life in general for me, that's has often been my greatest obstacle. Fear of something, getting out of my own way. And the way I was able to overcome that, working with my team, talking to people, confiding in a few close friends who built me up, said things that were motivating to me, gave me some word, to keep me focused, to get me back on track, and to help me to see that thing I was fearing really no need to fear. So for me, my greatest obstacle was just myself, and most of my teachings or dealings with education or life in general, and being able to confide in certain people and work through things, that's helped me get over a lot of that to this day.
Oh man, that's the truth right there, man. It was funny enough. It's like folks like to say, "Man, that was nothing but the devil." But in truth be told, it's like sometimes we could be our own worst enemy.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of the devil, one of my favorite books by Napoleon Hill, "Outwitting the Devil."
Ooh.
And in the book was written like back in the 30s, but they didn't release it because it was deemed too controversial for that time period. So it wasn't released until, later on. And basically Napoleon Hill he's writing it as if he's having a dialogue with the devil, and he's trying to just ask questions to unlock the hidden secrets to success and freedom. And that book inspired me in a lot of ways, and not just that book, but a lot of books written by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, books by Jim Rohn, self-development books, because I believe that we're always learning every day. And as a teacher, we have to learn every day as well so that we can continue to teach kids as things change, new technologies come down the pipe. So we're always learning. And so books that always teach you and motivate you to keep moving forward, stay ahead of the trends, pay attention to what's going on around you, those type of things help with making sure when those obstacles do come up, you know how to navigate them.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And that's like one of the good things about teachers like yourself who actually don't stay stagnant and just rest on their laurels. You keep actually adding to your mind and feeding your brain something so you can actually give it to the kids or whoever you're teaching for that matter.
Right, correct. So not staying stagnant. That is perfectly said. So anything that keeps us moving, because these kids are sharp. We have to stay on our toes because some of these students are, they know how to operate some of the technology better than we do. So definitely staying on top of things and right, always learning.
Heck, you're right about that. It's like, yeah, think you know something, and then the kid comes over, fix it over. It's kind of like the little nephew or grandson just coming over to help grandma with their computer. Be like, I just do this, this, and this. Did it in 5 seconds. That something took you like 5 or 15 minutes, maybe even longer.
Exactly. True story. I had a student a couple of years ago, one of the students that's in our behavior program. He's a 5th grader, and he's having a tantrum, and he's getting aggressive. It's kind of physical. So I get him to my room. We're doing our strategies to help him to calm down. So in the midst of him having a tantrum, my phone goes off, and I'm trying to do something to it, and he just stopped. And I'm still messing with the phone, and he says in a calm voice, "Hey, all you have to do is do X, Y, Z, and that'll do this, and if you do that, you can do that." And I said, "Really?" Then he said, "Yeah, let me show you." In a perfectly calm voice, he takes the phone, opens up the app, hit some buttons, hit something else, and then he explains to me, "See, now if you do it this way, this will do this and go forth and that," and then hands the phone back, and after that, we had the best relationship ever. And I would use technology to kind of bring him down anytime he had an episode, and that, that was a strategy that I learned from him. By default, it was an accident how it came about, but it's just anything we can use to reach the kids.
Huh? And he didn't get in his tantrum after that, right? At least for that day, right?
For the rest of that day, he still had his moments, but he taught me something that I can use to help him moving forward anytime we had to deal with each other.
Oh, okay, because I was expecting at the end, it's like, yep, that's all I had to do, Mr. Brian, that's right. And then, back to his tantrum.
That would have been too easy. That would have been too easy. Nah, but I could tell you some stories, man. If we had the time, I could tell you some stories. But at the end of the day, there are so many great stories that not just for myself, but teachers as a whole, so many success stories that we have with students. I mean, everything doesn't always turn out the way we hope for, but there are more positive, wonderful stories in the halls of many schools, and especially in my school. I can say, I can't speak for everyone, but I can say for myself, in the 23 years I've been there, I've seen more success stories come out of those classrooms than anything else. And that's just a testament to the dedication and the perseverance of the teachers that I work with.
Oh, yeah, the hallways of success, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Hallways of success. I like that.
Yes, indeed. Each brick is a face of a kid at Yale, probably, right?
Yep.
And again, that can be kind of scary in the moment. Like, wait a second. No, I can't see you at the same time, no. Ain't you a football player now? Why are you a kid again?
I'm not messing with you, man. I'm not messing with you.
That's right. Horror movie idea. That's right. When the kids of the teachers come back, when they're adults, the bad ones that stay bad. Yeah,
No comment there, sir. No comment there.
Hey, Mr. Jimmy. It's Mr. Neal. Well, okay, Mr. Jimmy. Yeah, so we got this basket here. It's full of nails and chocolate. You want to find the chocolate?
Oh, my God. Not sure where you're going with that one. I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Don't worry. No one knows where it goes, even me.
Nothing but success stories so far. And sometimes we might not see the success on the elementary level. But sometimes it doesn't turn around till they get to middle school, or sometimes not even high school. But we believe at the elementary level we plant that seed, and we may not see it sprout while they're with us, but once they get to middle school, more people water it, or high school, more people water it, and eventually something good has to bloom from that. When you have that much goodness sprinkled on it, something good has to happen, and that's what we like to believe. Do we always see it? Maybe not, but that's the belief we like to go with.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Just got to make sure they avoid the burning bush before they get high in high school, right?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Not messing with you, man.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, there's always that one story when I was a tree once. We won't get into that one though. Don't worry. It's all good.
Okay. I'm trying not to laugh at you, man.
Yeah. Don't worry. You can give up and just start busting out laughing. It's okay. It's usually the desired effect anyway. Yep. I mean, heck, when some potheads are trying to see some UFOs and they see some bush on the ground, not George, they just grab it, start rolling it up and burning it. Like, woo, all right, UFOs, baby. Yes, indeed.
No comment, sir. No comment.
Yep. Especially if one of the potheads' names is Moses. Oh, man. Like, wait, the burning bush? Wait a second here.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Woo. All right, coming down.
Not saying a word. I'm not saying a word.
Oh, man. Well, all righty, coming down the pike here to a question like to ask every guest, and that is, if you were to wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again in the current year with all of your knowledge and experience, what advice would you give to yourself?
Oh, wow. I've had that question many a time. The advice I would probably give would be to not go into education. As much as I love being a teacher, the income, not the greatest. So I probably would have chosen something else as a major. I was a telecom major when I started off in college. I probably would have stayed in that path, onto radio or journalism, and that was the path my family wanted me to stay in. But they were all teachers, and I got a taste of the teaching bug, and I enjoyed it. So again, I love the profession, but the income isn't what it should be for the amount of hours that we put in. Because some teachers are in their building 7 a.m., talking on the elementary level. Kids don't come till 9. Kids leave at 4, and teachers are there until 7, 8, 9 o'clock afterwards. So it's a strain on you, physically, mentally. If you have a family, your family may not understand why you're in the building so late. They may not understand why you can't come to their basketball game because you're at a function for the students at your school. They may not understand why you're buying treats for kids in your classroom. So it's very demanding. Again, I love the profession, but if I could go back in time, I would probably say, hey, stick with the telecom, man. Stick with that major. You know, that's where the money is. And not that it's all about money, but, just you have better opportunities to, take care of yourself in some other professions where the income is a little bit more in line with, the amount of time and effort you're putting into. So that would be the advice I would give to my younger self.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Hey.
I have no regrets. I have no regrets, but looking back, I would probably have stayed in that vein of telecommunications.
Yes, indeed. That's how I communicate, baby, through the telly. Oh, yeah. That's where all the jelly is.
Oh, my God.
What else had to at least has to do corny joke duty at least? Come on.
Hey, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I don't know if everyone else is going to appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. Corny jokes all day. Follow me on Teacherman1969 Instagram.
That's right. Slide into the DM, baby. Receive some funnies. That's right.
That's right.
Yep. Get that pun on a bun, baby.
Oh, I think you're giving them plenty tonight, sir. You're giving them plenty tonight.
Well, all right. And for the wonderful folks who want to keep in touch with you, already gave me your IG handle. Any other ways you want to reach out to you?
Instagram, Teacherman1969. Facebook, Brian Douglas Neal. That's where I am on social media. Twitter at DJ Brock Steele 1. I think that's my Twitter handle. You know what? Disregard the Twitter handle because I'm not sure if that's it. Haven't used it in a while. But Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you have it, folks, baby. Go ahead and follow him on the Instagram, baby. Find him on the Spacebooks, as some call it, a.k.a. the Facebooks, and get in some of that knowledge, baby, some of that edutainment, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Edutainment.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And any other Teacherman series books coming out anytime soon, too?
First book was called The Adventures of Teacherman in my first day of school. Second book, The Adventures of Teacherman, The Return of the Cicada. The third book coming out soon, hopefully. Just looking for another illustrator. That one is The Adventures of Teacherman, and I Missed the Bus. So that's the next one, hopefully coming soon.
Oh, yeah, birds under the sun, baby. That's what bus means. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, indeed. Hottest under the sun.
I'm not messing with you, man. Oh, boy. All right.
Yep. That's what happens when you combine puns and acronyms. You get punicums. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Make a punicum.
But, hey, look, man, I truly appreciate this opportunity to be on your show. And for those of you who listen to his show, please support this young man. He's an outstanding author. And we look forward to your next book, sir. So keep going north.
So Happy and Grateful, written by Antonio T. Smith Jr., is life-changing. We are an unhappy people and we make unhappy decisions. But he teaches us that if we take on the responsibility of our happiness, if we look at happiness and gratitude as our duty, as our responsibility, as our birthright, we can't help but to have a prosperous life. Go buy So Happy and Grateful by Antonio T. Smith Jr. You won't be disappointed.
How's it going, you super special, awesome human? Since you made it to the end of this episode, it looks like you really enjoyed yourself. Since you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with at least 3 people in your network and tell them what you really liked about this episode. Heck, even shoot myself or the guest an email and let them know what you liked most about this interview so that way they can stay inspired to keep pushing out great work.